friends. I'm coming to you today to talk about bottle bricking. I've talked about this previously in posts and stories, I think, but I haven't really done like an in-depth video on it, and I put a poll in my story recently that showed that a lot of you that follow me now actually don't know what it is but are interested. So I decided to make another video talking about the wonder that is bottle bricks. So I'm just going to talk a little bit about what bottle bricking is, how it helps, how to do it, and then what you do with them when you're done. So first of all, what the heck is bottle bricking? Well, bottle bricking is when you take like a lot of plastic and you cut it up or stuff it into the bottle, and then you jam it really tight so that you can't indent the bottle. And then it creates like a really sturdy brick out of the bottle. And then they'll use this to build things like infrastructure, which I'll talk about in a second. But it basically allows you to repurpose a lot of the plastic because, as you can see, a lot of plastic fits in these bottles. So why do we do bottle bricking? So we do it because you can, like I said before, you can fit a ton of plastic in these bottles. And then also, like I said before, they take them and they use them to build infrastructure. So I'll put a few pictures in here where you can see the way that they use them to actually build buildings in other countries as if it was an actual brick. And they also use them, some people use them for community projects, like I know somebody that's using them for garden boxes. It's really just a way for us to take responsibility for the plastic that is produced and then also repurpose it instead of just sending it to a landfill. So I think it's really creative. Whoever came up with bottle bricking is a very creative person. But as I've said multiple times now, there's so much plastic that fits in these bricks. You'd be amazed how much actually fits in them. So how do you do it? The first step would be to collect plastic. Now this can be your own plastic or plastic that you pick up off the street. Kudos to you if you want to go out and collect some plastic that's floating around in the wind. But it can really be anything like bags. I'm not even sure what this was. It looks like some sort of bag that a product came in. Stuff like bread bags, anything that's wrapped in plastic at the store. We even will take like our coffee bags and cut them up and put them into the bricks. Anything like wrappers, like granola bar wrappers, candy wrappers, anything really, tea bags that have like little microplastics in them, those can be used. This is like a quinoa bag, really anything, plastic, wrappers, containers, anything that's plastic can be stuffed into the bottle brick. And so what you do is if it's something like this, you can like cut it in half or you can just stuff it right into the bottle. I'll actually show you a little bit and actually get some bottle bricking done while I do this. For something like this, I would probably cut it up. I did not think to grab scissors. One second. I got the scissors. So for something like this, I would probably cut it at least in half, maybe even smaller. My scissors are a little dull. So then I would take this half and stuff it into the bottle, like so. Sometimes it makes it easier if you cut it into really small pieces, but sometimes it's just fun to shove it in there. Okay, like that. And then when you first start it, I think the beginning of the bottle is the hardest part. So you can put a few pieces in at the beginning. I can even get this guy in. You know what? I'm gonna cut this one. Alright. So I'm gonna go ahead and stuff this piece in as well. And then what you're gonna do is take some sort of long shaped thing. It could be like the end of a wooden spoon, or this is a broken hanger that I use because I don't have a wooden spoon that fits through the hole of a bottle. But then when it gets up towards the top, I like to use like a flathead screwdriver to really shove it down. But then you're just gonna take whatever weapon of choice, and go ahead and shove it down into the bottom like that. And as you put more stuff in, it'll get easier to really like smush it together. But you'd be surprised how smushed the plastic can get. So then you're just gonna smush it down in there like that. And then if you have something like this, that's a little bit tougher, that's not gonna like squish down into the bottle, I usually just cut it into small pieces, like so. And then I add those, and I'll probably add like a handful of things at a time. The key is to smush it down as you go, because if you add too much and then you try to compress it all, it'll start to get really hard at the top of where you're compressing, but not at the bottom. And I'll also put a picture here of a weight chart, because if you're going to be sending it off to like a formalized community or like group of people that uses them for like actual infrastructure, which I'll talk about in a second, then you want to make sure you abide by the weight that they're supposed to be. So if you can see in the chart that for different size bottles, it'll have to weigh a certain amount with the plastic in it in order for it to qualify. And like I messed up with one of these bottles, I think it was this one. No, it wasn't this one. It was this one. I didn't compress it enough at the bottom, and once I got to the top, I realized I needed a lot more plastic to meet the weight requirements. So then I ended up really going ham and compressing at the top, which you can see in the duct tape that I sent the screwdriver through the bottle a few times. So that would be my tip, is just to make sure you compress it as you go. It's a really good activity to do like while you watch TV or listen to a podcast or something. It doesn't require like mental attention. It's kind of therapeutic, honestly. One more thing that I forgot to mention about collecting plastic is that some people prefer to take the plastic that they collect and put it in the bottle brick right away before it has time to sit and collect. I'm the type of person that will collect an entire trash can's worth of plastic and then have it sitting in the corner and do a little bit at a time, but never really accomplish the whole bin of it. I think it's a little bit more effective to do it right away, because then you don't forget about it. However, if you're someone like me who will collect it and then put it in the brick, that's fine, but don't let it get to the point where it's too overwhelming to deal with. Like, it's okay if you have to throw away some of your plastic. Obviously, the goal here is to not throw as much stuff away, but you also don't want it to get so piled up that it's overwhelming. So just be aware that once you start to collect it, if you don't start to do it right away, it will pile up quickly, and it does get a little bit overwhelming. So just make sure that if you do collect it, allow yourself to throw some of that stuff away if you're not going to keep up with it. I'm just going to take advantage of this time and do a little bit more here. I'll speed it up so you guys can watch. It's kind of fun to watch. So that's the start of my bottle brick. Just slap myself in the face with it. That's the start of my bottle brick. I also wanted to mention one more thing, that when you do it, you're gonna wanna like wash out the bottle, but then let it dry really thoroughly. This one actually has a little bit more like condensation on the inside that I'm actually gonna leave it open for a little bit to air out. But I think that just prevents it from getting like moldy and gross in there. So just make sure you rinse them out and then let them dry before you start stuffing them. And just to reiterate my point on how much fits in here, I collected some gloves a long time ago that I had to use, and I fit 80 gloves in here, plus the rest of this trash that's in here. You can fit like a whole trash can's worth of trash in like one of these bricks, and then you really just want to make sure that you can't squish it. So it takes a lot of trash, and it takes a lot of trash from being in the landfills. Okay, so once you finish your bottle bricks, I just threw 2 of them on the ground. Good thing I have another. Once you finish them, what do you do with them? So There's actually a few options you can do here. I'm gonna put these down because I keep throwing them. The first option is one that I'm not as familiar with, but I will do a little bit of research and put some links and some resources in the caption for you guys. But you can send them off to, like, I know that they do projects like the pictures I showed you before in other countries where they actually like build houses and sheds and actual buildings out of the bottle bricks. And there's a way to ship them to those projects. So if that's something you're interested in, I will try to find links for that. But another option is there is a zero waste store here in Southwest Florida. And I believe she's still collecting the bottle bricks. She's been doing it for a while, but she's going to be using them for community garden boxes in this area. So if you live in the Southwest Florida area, you can either drop them off there, or I will put her in the caption, and you can go to that page and ship them to her. So that's another option. And your third option is getting creative and using them for your own project. You can build your own community garden box. You can, you can build a lot of different things with bottle bricks. We've actually kept a few just to see if we have a project. Well, I think we'll probably end up donating them. But we've kept some of ours just in case we have some projects that we want to use them for. But I'm sure you can come up with a lot of creative ways to use these. One thing I want to make very clear about this method is that it's great for repurposing stuff, but the ultimate goal is to not have as much stuff to repurpose. So it's not a solution. It's not a solution to the plastic problem. It's just simply a way for us to take responsibility for some of the plastic that we do end up producing. So overall, that's pretty much it. I hope I covered everything. Bottle breaking is super cool, super creative way to repurpose some of the plastic that usually we can't really figure out what to do with it, like the pretzel bags and the bread plastic and whatever else you can think of. The plastic grocery bags, those are great for it too. So it's really just a great way to repurpose that stuff and use it for pretty much anything. So yeah, if you have any questions, send them out to me. I hope this encouraged you to try it out because it's really fun. And good luck. Happy bricking.